Check one, two, check, 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 check. Well, good morning and welcome to Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV Big Fox, broadcasting live from the Hesselson studio. I'm your host, Frank Akelman, and we actually have a lot to cover. A lot of people may know this, but this is a kind of a tough part of the year, if you will, to get breaking stories. A lot of people are either on vacation, planning Christmas, but boy, it turns out we have a lot. Speaking of which, you're planning for Christmas, so this is an important note because it would not normally be on your, maybe your radar, but in the Corning Paint and Post School District, there is voting today from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. So I wanted to highlight that. We're going to remind you throughout the morning because December the 19th, not maybe a time you'd be thinking about voting. Okay. Hey, speaking of the holiday season, I'm so grateful that people continue to keep reaching out about the telethon on Friday. Thank you. I was very happy with it. I think many people that watched it were very happy with it, and I received from the Salvation Army. Amazing. Frank and the Big Fox team, thank you so much for pouring your heart and soul into this telethon. This brought a smile to my face right from the beginning. Isn't that nice? Thanks to everyone who did an interview and to all the community, special guests, and musicians who participated. Yes, I said my thank you as well. Of course, truly a great event and hoping this can become an annual tradition. Yes, me too. I had just had a blast. It was a lot, like I say, a lot of work. It was just hectic at that time, being live for 2 hours and so many guests coming in and out and making sure the audio was playing. So thank you to everybody who has reached out. And I will say we don't normally highlight the YouTube page because we'll put up Frankly Speaking about a week after. But this is one that I have posted to YouTube so that you can see it before the holiday season. And we're going to be taking the music. Well, I know it is the holiday season, but I mean before Christmas. And I'm going to take the music, the great music that we received, Crystal Chords, Doc Possum, you name it. I'm going to try to make, there may be too much to be honest, but I'm going to try to make a Christmas show because we will be not going live on Christmas, but we will have Frankly Speaking. So we'll put that on and you can have great music to listen to as you open up your presents. Okay, let's get to a few things. As always, you can contact me. You see the number on the bottom of your screen. Excuse me, we already received a virtual wave, so thank you for that. On the program this morning, we do have an update on our Congressman, Nick Langworthy, who was in the area yesterday. I want to show that to you. We're also going to talk about Joe Biden, according to 2 or 3 different pieces this morning. Not sure exactly where this is coming from, but a lot of people are concerned, speaking on anonymity, about the campaign not taking Trump seriously enough. And then there's a piece that Biden is actually very nervous about the polls. We're going to get to that as well. An update on Hunter, a few things here about Trump, a few things here about the Congress, as a matter of fact, and maybe a couple of other quick hits from throughout the morning. But it's just you and me. We've been so busy. We've had guests on. Just been great. Well, it's been great months of shows, but the last couple of weeks have just been very, very busy. So I thought, hey, let's spend some time together. So if there's anything you'd like to talk about specifically, please reach out at any time at that number on the bottom of the screen. All you need to do is text or leave a voicemail, and we'll get to it before the end of the program, most likely. I do have to take my first break. I know that was a little bit of housekeeping, a little bit of everything there to start the program off. But I'm going to keep saying this. Corning Paint and Post School District, today is the day to vote, and polls are open from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. So let's take our first break, and then we'll be back with Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV. Big Fox, stay with us.
Hesselson's your one-stop shop for all of your clothing and footwear needs this holiday season. Hot finger ski gloves, cold-proof long underwear, merino wool socks, men's and ladies are all in stock with savings throughout the entire store. Carhartt jackets, insulated bibs, and hooded sweatshirts are all available in all sizes and colors. Work boots, western boots, hikers, and loggers, all in stock from the biggest names in the industry. Carolina, Thurgood, Danner, Ariat, Ovos, and Loa. When it comes to clothing and footwear this holiday season, think Hesselson's. Remember, it's always fun to poke in the corners at Hesselson's.
Happy Holiday from Watkins Glen and Elmira Family Dentistry. Give the gift of a bright smile this holiday season for you or your loved ones with their Winter Whitening Special. Give them an hour of your time and they'll give you a bright new smile. No light, no gimmicks, no wipes, and absolutely no application by yourself. Sit back and relax in their beautiful office and let their licensed dental professionals apply for you. That's Watkins Glen and Elmira Family Dentistry.
Flurries there. You can see it by the lamppost. Welcome back to Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV Big Fox. I'm your host, Frank Acom, broadcasting live from the Hesselson studio. We're still in the holiday spirit. You see all our decorations are still up. Okay, so yesterday, Congressman Langworthy visited the Elmira Fire headquarters announcing $276,000 in federal funding. I tried to put the picture up. Let's see. There it is. That's a good-looking picture of everybody involved. Congressman Nick Langworthy made a visit to the city of Elmira's fire headquarters to meet with first responders and announce an assistance to firefighters grant from the Federal Emergency Management Agency, or FEMA, in the amount of $276,545. Congressman Langworthy was joined at the fire department by Elmira Mayor Dan Mandel. And it looks like, background there, you saw Senator Tom O'Mara as well. Here's the quote from our congressman. It's an honor to thank, I got it cut off, so I'm going to read the rest. It's an honor to thank Elmira firefighters in person for putting their lives on the line for our community every single day. It's always been my priority to do what I can to ensure our first responders have the resources they need to do their jobs safely. I'm proud to announce a significant grant that will enable the city of Elmira to purchase new gear and enhance the capabilities of our local fire department. All right. And Mayor Dan Mandel, friend of Frankly Speaking, we are grateful for Congressman Langworthy's partnership with the city of Elmira to ensure the safety and well-being of our community. This funding will play a pivotal role in equipping our firefighters with the latest tools and resources they need to carry out their duties safely and effectively. Now, the city of Elmira intends to use this grant to purchase 40 new Scott air packs and 80 air bottles. Congressman Langworthy sent a letter to FEMA to advocate for this grant on behalf of the city back in May. So I wanted to pass it along to you if you had not heard already. Okay, moving along here. Let's talk about some issues at the national front. How am I doing on time? It looks like we're doing good. You can reach out at any time and weigh in on what we're going to talk about. This is just an update from a story we've been following, and not just us, so some other outlets as well. But Hunter Biden will make his first court appearance on the tax charges, and that's coming up on January 11th. Hunter Biden will make his first court appearance on January 11th in a tax fraud case accusing him of dipping out more than $1 million in taxes while blowing money on drugs, escorts, luxury hotels, exotic cars, and much more. The disgraced first son is expected to be arraigned on 3 felony and 6 misdemeanor tax charges during the hearing in U.S. District Court in Los Angeles. Now, I am not aware if that's something we'll be able to see. I will keep you updated. This is just the first I've heard of a date being sent. What a difference these charges are to what he could have got with that sweetheart deal. Now, who do you blame on that falling apart? I mean, it's got to be put on the lawyer who got so almost belligerent or cocky that he said, never mind, the deal's over, even though they had it. I mean, they had, it's cliche now, but a sweetheart deal. And there's no other way to label that, and how things have changed. Okay, before we go to a break, and we're going to talk about Hunter's father here when we come back, about the polls that I highlighted a little bit earlier on. Don't forget, though, tonight is that special annual Christmas concert by our friends, the Crystal Chords. You saw a lot of the Crystal Chords on the telethon, if you tuned in. We'll join them for their holiday concert tonight at Horseheads First United Methodist Church. That's 1034 West Broad Street in Horseheads, and that's from 7 to 8 p.m. Donations are accepted, and all proceeds are going to benefit the food bank of the Southern Tier. You can find out more at crystalchords.com. But again, 7 to 8 tonight at the Horseheads First United Methodist Church. All right, let's take a break. We'll be right back. We're moving quick this morning. We always do. So stay right there. This is Frankly Speaking on WYDC TV. Big Fox will be right back.
Has hernia mesh surgery left you with pain, cramping, bowel disorder, even more surgery? Signs a bad product may have been used, and you deserve cash for your pain.
A jury has just awarded $41 million to a hernia mesh victim. So call now.
Call the law firm of Betts & Burrill, 855-656-8444.
You may be suffering from a defective product.
855-656-8444, and get the money you deserve.
Fish Lake Erie. Walleye, muskellunge, lake trout, perch, bass, steelhead. Come fish Lake Erie. Watch Sundays at 11 a.m. on MyTV.
If you struggle to keep up with conversations, if you have trouble hearing the TV or radio, Nano Hearing Aids wants to help you hear better. Because when you hear better, you're actually going to feel better and live a happier, even healthier life. And Nano Hearing Aids is offering not one, but two very special, possibly once-in-a-lifetime offers. Special offer number one, when you buy any Nano OTC hearing aid, Nano will give you a pair of personal sound amplifiers, absolutely free. If you have a little trouble hearing but don't need a hearing aid, these are great. Special offer two, today Nano is offering an amazing deal on their CIC Recharge OTC hearing aids. Today you can order a full pair of completely in-canal Recharge OTC hearing aids for only $297. Plus, Nano offers great financing. Payments from only $26.81 a month, 88 cents a day. But supplies are limited, so call now.
1-800-219-0286, 1-800-219-0286.
Merry Christmas to everybody, and I hope you guys have a great night.
Merry Christmas to the Southern Tier. Go Bills!
Happy Christmas and go Bills!
I really enjoy those Christmas greeting ads. I know you do too. Okay, so Biden it's sad, and there's a lot of anonymous reporting in this, or quotes, I should say. This is from the Washington Post. Biden's said to be increasingly frustrated by dismal poll numbers. Well, I think that would be obvious. I mean, the polls are very, very bad and have continued to get worse in recent months. They take a look behind the scenes after, this is around Thanksgiving, when the president pardoned, and in that tradition, the turkeys. Biden delivered some stern words for the small group assembled, behind the scenes, of course, not during the pardon. His poll numbers were unacceptably low, and he wanted to know what his team and his campaign were doing about it. Now, there's something interesting about that when you think about it. Yes, of course, that's why I hire these people on, don't get me wrong. But at the same time, do you not bear some of the responsibility? Now, some of it is things he can't really... you can't really blame. I mean, he's 81. He's obviously showing some signs of slipping, and that's been a major issue in these polls, time and time again, cited time and time again. But to put the whole onus on everyone around him, maybe a little bit unfair when it's his policies, or at least he'll take credit for policies he believes are successful. He complained that his economic message has done little to move the ball, even as the economy was growing and unemployment was falling. That's according to people familiar with his comments in this conversation, who spoke on condition of anonymity. I can't imagine you would be, I mean, I can understand why you'd be frustrated, right? But I'm also surprised that you would think your economic message would be successful. Bidenomics, first of all, is not a very catchy name, or it's not really a name I think you want attached onto this economy. Now, again, they've done a lot, spent a lot of money trying to tell us that the economy is good. They try to tell us that things are a lot better than they feel, but he can be as frustrated as he wants. But there's a lot of people that are very frustrated when they get back from the grocery store and when they go to the gas station. So to me, to think that your message was going to be some huge success on this was maybe wrong-headed, a little naive. For months, the president and first lady, Jill Biden, have told aides and friends that they are frustrated by the president's low approval ratings and the polls that show him trailing former President Donald Trump. And in recent weeks, they've grown upset that they are not making more progress. Why, again, I guess, why do you expect progress? Why do you expect better polling? I think they've done a pretty good job, and I don't know what it's like behind the scenes, of ignoring the issue of age and the issue of health, mental and physical, that so many people have cited as a reason for not supporting Biden. And maybe it is to keep your head in the sand because, again, the decision to run or not to run is completely on Biden's shoulders. So I know he said to those donors, the only reason he's running, and I'm paraphrasing, is because Trump's running and he can beat Trump. I think that's maybe a level of ego, too, that we're seeing in this article, which is, why are my polls not better? Let's blame the people around me. Since that November meeting, which has not been previously reported, most polls continue to show Biden trailing Trump nationally and, more importantly, in those swing states, those key battleground states. The accumulation of troubling polls for Biden has made it harder for Democrats to dismiss them. Yeah, and there's some people speaking out, but then others say, shh, don't say anything. It's politics is weird, isn't it? It's leading to a fresh set of conversations among Biden officials and allies about whether the president and his team need a shift in his strategy. Has there been, well, I mean, obviously there's a strategy, but has there really been any type of campaign? There's criticism I'm going to get to in a little bit from a completely different source than this article, saying, he never really hit the ground running with his campaign. And there's a problem there as well, because if Trump, and it looks like the polls show anyway, that Trump could lock in the nomination pretty early in the year. They're actually predicting, we'll get to that a little bit later on, I want to say by March. Now, that's his campaign, so take it with a grain of salt. But by March, that means you're really running a general election starting March, where Biden hasn't really even began the process of starting the presidential campaign. Yes, a little bit here, a little bit there, but not really what you would call a full-throated effort. And then they have the problem, too, that Democrats in competitive races are worried that Biden being at the top of the ticket could damage them. Representative Elisa Slotkin from Michigan, who is running for the state's open Senate seat, has expressed concern to allies that she may not be able to win her race if Biden is at the top of the ticket, according to people familiar with the conversation. A spokesman, of course, said, no, that's not the case. We look forward to campaigning with Biden. But will Biden really be campaigning that much? That's another question. We know he didn't last go around. Now, you could maybe make the argument, well, COVID, and, that was a different time. That's a fair argument. But, boy, I think they see that as a winning strategy. And I don't know if this year, next year, if that's the case, especially when you start, I'm sure Trump's going to hit on it. A lot of talking heads are going to hit on it. That Biden will be 86 at the end of another term. So this is kind of an interesting piece. I found it at Drudge Report, so you can link it there. You get the general idea. Probably not going to go through all of it, but publicly, Biden campaign officials and Democrat allies have downplayed the polls, telling supporters to largely ignore them. Yeah, and even telling the news media, you notice the media doesn't mention this here, but telling the news media, hey, you guys are looking at the wrong polls, or why are you focused on this so early out? And sadly, the media really craters when the Biden administration demand they report. The Biden administration has got such glowing coverage, kid glove coverage, that when they get anything like a Hunter Biden story, or in this case, showing poll numbers, they really get upset with the media. It goes to show you in some ways how you can get spoiled when the media is in your back pocket. But anyway, They argue the election is still almost a year away, and the polls are not predictive of the results, but rather a snapshot of the current moment. They say most voters are not paying attention to the election yet. Well, kind of forced to, aren't you? And the polls will change once the race becomes a clear choice between Biden and Trump. Only recently, though, have Biden officials started to scale up the campaign. And this is what I was mentioning. There's another piece on this we'll get to after break because I'm running a little late. But let me continue so we don't have to get completely out of sync here. So they launched campaign back in April after months of warning from top Democrats in battleground states that they were too slow to build out their operation. Since Thanksgiving, the campaign has announced leadership teams in Nevada, Michigan, Wisconsin, and South Carolina, and more staffers are slated to be announced before the end of the year. Quote, the Republican primary could end quickly, and the general election could begin in weeks, not months, said Simon Rosenberg, a Democrat strategist. Given Trump's noisiness and his ability to bully his way through the daily information wars, I think it's really important that the Biden campaign move into general election mode as soon as possible. We're not where we want to be. Some of our coalition is wandering, and we need to get them back. And I think that is an interesting point, saying, you can plan out and say, well, after the convention, we'll really do the general election kind of routine. But as this gentleman said, you're looking at days, weeks, not months. So, again, you can find this at Drudge Report this morning. I always find it interesting, and we're starting to see it, and it comes in kind of waves where it'll be, good coverage of the president, good coverage, and then you'll see almost maybe because it's probably already too late to get somebody else in there to run, but you will see almost back-to-back where one reporter or one outlet decides to finally write something that's maybe a little bit tougher on the president, and then others kind of piggyback off on that, and we're going to get to that in just a moment. First, we got to take another break. Stay with us. This is Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV. Big Fox will be right back.
It's that time of year again. The White Elephant Gift Exchange, where you always end up with, well, let's call them interesting gifts. I'm not even sure what this one is. But wait, there is always that one gift that everyone wants and everyone steals. And in the end, only one lucky person walks away with the coveted prize. It's Quick Fill gift card season. Quick Fill. Merry Christmas, America.
If you struggle to keep up with conversations, if you have trouble hearing the TV or radio, Nano Hearing Aids wants to help you hear better. Because when you hear better, you're actually going to feel better and live a happier, even healthier life. And Nano Hearing Aids is offering not one, but two very special, possibly once-in-a-lifetime offers. Special offer number one, when you buy any Nano OTC hearing aid, Nano will give you a pair of personal sound amplifiers absolutely free. If you have a little trouble hearing but don't need a hearing aid, these are great. Special offer two, today Nano is offering an amazing deal on their CIC Recharge OTC hearing aids. Today you can order a full pair of completely in-canal Recharge OTC hearing aids for only $297. Plus, Nano offers great financing. Payments from only $26.81 a month. That's around 88 cents a day. But supplies are limited, so call now.
1-800-759-6001.
The Nano CIC Recharge OTC hearing aids are extremely easy to use, and they're nearly invisible. And since they're completely in canal, nothing shows on the back of your ear. So most people will never even see them. And today you can purchase a pair of fully rechargeable CIC Recharge OTC hearing aids for only $297. This is one amazing deal, but Nano has a second incredible deal. Because when you buy a Nano CIC Recharge at the low price of $297, Nano will give you a pair of Nano personal sound amplifiers free. So you'll get both a pair of OTC hearing aids and a pair of personal sound amplifiers for only $297. That's $297 for both. Payments on the CIC Recharge start at $26.81 a month. That's 88 cents a day. But remember, supplies are limited. Once they're gone, this offer is gone and will not be repeated. So call now.
1-800-759-6001. 1-800-759-6001.
Welcome back to Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV Big Fox. I'm your host, Frank Aiken, broadcasting live from the Hesselson studio. Thank you so much for joining us. We're talking about the poll numbers that have the Biden campaign and the Biden administration concerned. Well, more bad news on that front. Even Vice President Harris is now viewed more favorably than Joe Biden. This coming from the New York Post. Americans may have found something they like less than a hypothetical Kamala Harris presidency. That's 4 more years of Joe Biden. A new poll out Monday shows the vice president's favorability rating inching above the commander-in-chief for the first time, as we're seeing more and more reports of glowing alarm inside the White House about the prospects of a re-election. The Monmouth University survey showed the 81-year-old Biden received just a 34% approval rating, the lowest in the polls tracking of his administration, and down 20 percentage points from its peak in April of 2021. So that's on the front end, 34 approval rating, 61% disapproval rating. Now, Harris fares little better, but her 35% approval rating and 57% disapproval rating are positively glowing marks compared to her boss, says Ryan King. Most concerning for Biden's reelection campaign is his 24% approval among independents, which is down 14 points from July. Now, I've said on this program numerous times, I'm not the biggest fans of polls, but you start to look at this, and it does paint a picture that should or is troubling the White House. In addition, more than 2/3 of Americans disapprove of the president's handling of the twin crises that have bedeviled his administration. One, immigration, and that's a 69%, and inflation, 68% negative views, respectively. It just keeps getting more difficult and more difficult for Biden. You can find this whole piece. We're not going to go through all the various quotes, but they put on a happy face and everything's okay. It's early, but new reports that I've mentioned came out kind of in droves, indicate a different story behind closed doors. You don't read the polls, the president told reporters November 9th. I'll give you 10 polls. 8 of them I'm beating Trump in those states. 8 of them. You guys only do 2. The bad feeling has spread to other Democrats, with the party trying to take back control of the House of Representatives next year and expanding its majority in the Senate, despite what some are deemed an unfavorable map. In Michigan, for example, I mentioned Stoken, Representative Lisa Stoken, who thinks that Biden being at the top of the ticket could cost her that Senate seat. There are even times when Biden himself has expressed apparent ambivalence around seeking a second term. Yeah, that was not a good look when it was reported that he came out and said if Trump wasn't running, I'm not sure I'd be running. That doesn't scream leadership necessarily. The next day, Biden told reporters that probably 50 Democrats could defeat the 77-year-old Trump before insisting, I have to run, and vowing not to leave the race. Yeah, there's a lot of people that came out, even what you would deem Biden supporters, said if you believe there are other people that can win this race, why don't you let them? At 81, why don't you let them? Because I'm not saying it. It's the polls that are saying it, that that's one of the biggest, if not the biggest concern about Biden, is his mental and physical health at 81 years old. So if you believe there are 50 Democrats that could defeat Trump, why not let one of those 50% jump in? Part of the issue appears to be the administration's points of emphasis. In the Monmouth poll, just 31% said Biden was giving enough attention to the issues that were most important to them and their families, while 65% said he was not. We're not where we want to be, said Simon Rosenberg, who I mentioned earlier. Some of the coalition is wandering, and we need to get them back. All right. Now, I said that these were coming in droves. This is a piece from New York Magazine, and it is, let me tell you, it is a 14-page article. The alarming calm of the Biden campaign. And I think that's what's concerning a lot of people, because where most Democrats are concerned and worried behind the scenes, you can see it in the media, you can feel it in some ways. They keep saying, never mind the polls, it's too early, everything's okay, we'll start here soon. Well, you recall even the announcement that he was running for re-election came later than they originally thought and was pushed off until that one article said April, because at that point there was a lot of speculation, which is another thing you don't want, but a lot of speculation that maybe he isn't going to run for re-election and put another Democrat in there, or maybe they're trying to work behind the scenes to see what they can do to get someone other than Harris in there, who isn't very popular either, though according to that new poll is more popular than her boss. Not by much, but so there's this kind of don't worry, we'll get to it later attitude, or we've got this under control, and that's what this piece is about. I guess on Friday, this was it that in November, a handful of Joe Biden's top aides gathered in a Sheraton conference room in Chicago. The audience had reason to be skeptical about 2024. Some were even panicky. The president is old, hobbled by the after effects of a big spike in inflation, buffeted by 2 wars, and starting to trail in polls against an opponent whose grip on the Republican Party seems stronger than ever. The Obama veterans who were gathered there, many of whom also worked for the 2012 campaign and know a bit about re-electing unpopular incumbents, were looking for reassurance. Some were sated, but others were itching for more substance. They pressed the Biden aides for details. How might third-party candidates affect youth turnout? What's your precise understanding of how to reach voters with media consumption habits? Toward the end of the session, Siegel told the room that the election was going to be close no matter what they did. Now that's almost a warning. The Sheraton fell silent as she reminded the group that in November of 2020, only 45,000 voters in a few states had kept Donald Trump from a second term. So saying, essentially, hey, don't worry, it's going to be close. What the one person said, one Democrat president said, it was I'm going to change it here for the kids getting ready to go to school. It was an oh my gosh moment. That was not a level of confidence that they wanted to see from the Biden campaign. Some even came off in the crowd trying to find out more answers, when they were being asked by the crowd. Some in the Biden campaign got defensive, absurdly defensive, as one person was quoted as saying. One somewhat sideways best case interpretation came from a former senior Obama strategist. Maybe the Biden aides didn't feel it was the proper venue for a deeper dive, precisely because they're facing so many of the sky is falling questions. And also, let's face it, if you're up there, you're running what you think is going to be a successful campaign, and a lot of people saying, why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing that? It's never good to be criticized when you're trying to do your job. But anyway, 14 pages. If you're interested, it's at New York Magazine. Again, I think I got that off of Drudge Report this morning. It must have been. Must have been Drudge Report. Okay, I've got a great question from a viewer that I'll answer right now. Good morning, Frank. I guess I missed something. Yeah. What are we voting on today? Yes, it does not surprise me. I think that's a concern that many people have when you start talking about school votes on December 19th. December 19th. Maybe not a lot of people focused on school vote decisions at this time. I'm sure that's just coincidental. So what we're voting on today is... well, I hate to read it because it's so wonky, but let's do this. I will take a short break because I don't want to run too late, and then I'll read to you what you'll see on the ballot. Again, you can vote from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m., and this is for the Corning Painted Post School District. If you have any questions, please reach out to the number on the bottom of the screen. I can let you know the locations that you can vote. So this is a capital project. It's a big vote. I'm glad that I could spread the message a little bit because it does seem to fall under the radar, though I will say that if you're in the Corning Painted Post School District, you most likely received a pretty lengthy packet about some of this and some of the improvements, some of the purchases that they're looking for. So we'll get to that when we come back. Stay with us. This is Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV. Big Fox, stay with us.
Hot tubs, hot tubs, hot tubs. Hesselson's year-end hot tub clearance is going on now. Over $500,000 of inventory must be sold before year's end, so what better way to start making every day better than today with your very own Hesselson's hot tub? Every hot tub in stock is being drastically reduced to clear out this inventory. Plus, Hesselson's will be offering 0% interest-free financing for up to 5 full years. Plus, free cover, free chemicals, and free steps. Don't wait. Come in today and see why your next hot tub should be a Hesselson's hot tub. Remember, it's always fun to poke in the corners at Hesselson's.
Attention and their family members who spent time at Camp Lejeune between 1953 and 1987. If you've been diagnosed with cancer, Parkinson's disease, or other serious illnesses, you could have been exposed to toxic water and may be eligible for significant compensation. Call the law firm of Betts & Burrell right now. Consultations are free and you won't pay a fee unless we get you the money you deserve. Call 877-775-5199 and speak to an attorney today.
If you're on supplemental oxygen, heavy and awkward tanks are a burden. Now you can leave home and leave the tanks behind with Inogen One, the portable oxygen concentrator you can take almost anywhere.
With this little device, now I'm able to do the things that I've always loved. I just press the button here, and there's my oxygen.
The Inogen One is so small and light, you're free to leave the house without the hassles of an oxygen tank.
I could play golf again. I could go grocery shopping. I'm free again.
With the Inogen, I can handle my own oxygen. I can carry my own oxygen. I go anywhere with this. Look how small it is.
And right now, you can try an Inogen One for 30 days completely risk-free. Give us a call right now. If you qualify, we'll send you an Inogen system to use for 30 days completely risk-free. Your insurance may even cover your new Inogen One system.
If you're on oxygen, you need to be using an Inogen.
Call 1-800-929-7290. Again, that's 1-800-929-7290.
Sunday, it's a huge day of football on Fox, and it all kicks off with a special Veterans Day pregame show live from the Air Force Academy in Colorado Springs. Then the action begins as Christian McCaffrey and the Niners take on the Jaguars. Touchdown! And in America's Game of the Week, NFC East rivals collide as Dak leads the Cowboys against the Giants. Wow! It all begins Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern on Fox with the pregame special. Check.
We are back with Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV Big Fox. If you're just joining us, we did receive this question about today's vote. If you're in the Corning Pinnacle School District, yes, I will. If I had to speculate, there will not be a high voter turnout on a day to vote December 19th. Think about that. From 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. And it's about upgrades, infrastructure, and what they're calling investments here. Remodeling of some of the schools. If you didn't receive the information, I think you can find it. Where was it? They have the 2023 capital project page at corningareaschools.com. This is what you'll see on the ballot. And I apologize because it does get a little wonky, but most people I talk to do not realize today's vote. Shall the bond resolution of the City School District of the City of Corning, New York, entitled Bond Resolution of the City School District of the City of Corning, New York, adopted October 18, 2023, authorizing A, the acquisition by purchase of certain real property located at 2634 Golf Road in the town of Corning, New York, and designated on the tax map of the town of Corning, Steuben County lot, I'm not going to read the whole lot name, at a cost not to exceed $600,000, which acquisition shall be on substantially the terms and conditions set forth in one or more contracts of sale on file in the office of the district clerk. And B, here we go. The construction of alterations, additions, new buildings, and improvement to district facilities and sites at a cost not to exceed $82,147,038, stating the estimated total cost of the foregoing is not to exceed $82,747,038, appropriating said amount, therefore authorizing the expenditure of not to exceed $1,900,000 from the district's general capital reserve fund to be expended towards the cost thereof, and authorizing the issuance of not to exceed $80,847,038 serial bonds of said district to finance the balance of said appropriation be approved. So shall it be approved? Couple things going here. And I apologize that to read that. I know that was, especially if you're not in the Corning County Post School District, that was a lot. So that, what I just read, is a decision to be made 6 days before Christmas, less than a week before Christmas. Today is the vote. I'm not criticizing one way or other. I'm just saying that less than a week before Christmas, from 11 till 8 p.m. today, you have the opportunity to vote for or against what I just read to you. Looking at a lot of legalese, if you will. So I'd recommend $82.7 million project. Find out more about that project, CorningAreaSchools.com. One viewer saying here, why would schools need any more money? It's all a dog and pony show. 82, I don't know. At a time when we're all kind of struggling, this is not a criticism of whatever you think of this, voting yes, voting no, it just seems like maybe not the best time economically to have that kind of number being thrown around. But again, my prediction is we will not have a very big turnout this morning on December 19th, but I hope that you'll be able to make it. By the way, we were talking about the campaign before we go to break. Vice President Harris is going to kick off, and this comes as no surprise if you watch this program. This is what we've been saying for quite some time, but now it's official. She's going to kick off the election year tour with the, quote, Reproductive Freedoms Tour. Vice President Harris is launching a Reproductive Freedoms Tour across the country in Battleground, Wisconsin next month, kicking off the 2024 election year with a focus on abortion, an issue the Biden campaign believes will be critical to mobilizing voters in November. She'll start in Wisconsin on January 22nd, the 51st anniversary of Supreme Court's Roe v. Wade decision. Biden campaign officials view abortion as a key issue for general election voters heading into 2024, and one where they have the upper hand, pointing to high turnout and enthusiasm among Democrat voters in recent elections. All right, got to take another break. Stay with us. We will be right back with Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV. Big Fox, stay with us.
Suburban Propane is here for your residential and industrial propane needs. Serving the surrounding area for over 95 years, we take pride in our reliable delivery service with 24/7, 365 emergency service answered by company representatives. Call today to start your Suburban Propane service.
Stay tuned to get this 5-piece bakeware set, a $60 value, absolutely free. Tired of that pan that always sticks? It's so scratched and worn, you can't cook in it.
Hi, Chef Daniel Green here with my new hammered pans from Gotham Steel. This complete 9-piece set is guaranteed to beautify your kitchen like never before.
Gosh, what I love most about this design is this hammered copper look. It would just look so fantastic hanging in my kitchen.
Wow, this is a beautiful pan. It looks great. Look at those eggs dancing around in there. I tell you, I'm sold. Where do I get these? I love them.
Hammered pans are ultra non-stick. Nothing sticks. Even gooey mac and cheese slips out with ease. And look, these sticky candies melted with a torch are no match for hammered pans. Plus, they're super durable, so use metal beaters straight in the pan for a gourmet souffle that slips out and a pan that looks just like new. They're even oven safe up to 500 degrees. So bake homemade chicken pot pie, cheesy lasagna, or this whole chicken dinner. Any recipe looks great in these pans. From steak flambe to delicious desserts and delicate fish, nothing sticks. Plus, the entire set is dishwasher safe and PFOA free.
Similar sets are over $1,000, but you won't pay that. Not $500 or even $300. Get the full 9-piece Gotham Steel hammered set for just 5 payments of $49.99, and we'll even ship it to you free. But order now and we'll drop 1 payment. That's just 4 payments of $49.99, and we'll even guarantee it for a full 10 years. Plus, we'll include this free steamer and strainer, and our 5-piece bakeware set with every pan you'll ever need to make delicious breads, cakes, and desserts. Together, these are an $80 value, yours 100% free. That's a huge 15-piece set with free shipping. Call or click now.
To order, call 1-800-603-3404 or go to buyhammered.com. That's 1-800-603-3404, or you can order online at buyhammered.com.
Merry Christmas. 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 Merry Christmas.
And we are back with Frankly Speaking, broadcasting live from the Hesselson studio. It's been interesting to see how many comments and questions we've been receiving about the Corning Opinion Post school vote today, December the 19th, at 11 till 8 p.m. Yes, there is a lot of questions. It is an $82.7 million capital project. A lot of questions about the timing, and I appreciate everybody reaching out. So thank you. And I know it gets a little wonky with some of this stuff, but we're hoping for people to get out and vote. Though it seems like that is difficult for anything other than a presidential year. Hey, Trump's campaign expects to clinch the 2024 nomination by mid-March. This is what I had mentioned to you earlier. Former President Trump's campaign team projects he could formally clinch the Republican nomination by March the 19th, giving his lead in the polls in the early voting states. The team believes Trump is on track to win 1,478 delegates by then, based on a mix of public and internal polls. Of course, this is another story based on interviews with people asking for anonymity. That would be more than enough delegates needed to win a majority of the total of 2,429 delegates who will select a nominee at the Republican National Convention set for July. So that's why some are concerned on the Democrat side that Biden isn't doing enough, because you could be talking about it going into a general election matchup, even though the convention hasn't happened. But let's face it, it would be a general election matchup just without the final official convention on March 19th. Today is December 19th. That's pretty quick turnaround for a campaign that's been kind of slow on the uptick, meaning the Biden campaign. Trump holds a commanding lead in the Republican primary ahead of the 2024 race. A Reuters Ipsos opinion poll completed last week showed 61% of self-identified Republicans said they would vote for the former president in that primary. Got a little bit of tickle in my throat. All right, how are we doing on time? We're doing good. Now, Governor Chris Sununu from New Hampshire says that Nikki Haley has a path to make sure that Trump isn't the nominee. We received messages last week, and I know I've talked about it a lot on the program, but I do think it's interesting that people, again, I don't dislike Nikki Haley, but the people that you see supporting her, the people that say she has a path forward, almost hoping against hope, and then the media building her up, it is so reminiscent, it's almost eerie, of Jeb Bush. Remember when we were told that over and over again? Jeb, boy, from the same people that hated his family. But the only way that Hillary can be beat by a Republican is by Jeb Bush. And the best thing that ever happened to Hillary is if Trump gets the nomination. You remember those? The same people that always get predictions wrong on television, having no problem going, like Bill Kristol, for instance, having no problem coming out later and continuing to say the same type of stuff. It seems like you'd be a little sheepish. Seems like you'd be a little, hey, I got every prediction wrong leading up to this race. But instead, someone like Bill Kristol then goes and gets super PACs to try to hurt the sitting Republican president. But anyway, Sununu said he is still low, under 50%. As it gets to be a one-on-one race, it is a reset button. That is what we are opening now. That is what you are opening was, this opening. How New Hampshire now, how New Hampshire could be a reset button for a lot of these candidates. I think it will be for Nikki. At the end of the day, Nikki is the path to making sure that Trump isn't the nominee. I think the vast majority of his voters are going to come on board. So Trump supporters, apparently because of New Hampshire, will, according to Governor Sununu, Trump supporters will go to Nikki because of New Hampshire. I'll tell you about Liz Cheney, but not for long. Don't worry, I promise. Keep those comments coming in. 607-358-3131. I'd love to hear from you. We'll be right back after this short break and wrapping things up. Man, we are moving quick this morning. Stay with us.
Turned down for Social Security disability? Help is here.
Let us get you the Social Security disability check you deserve.
Call the law firm of Betts & Burrill now, 888-333-1599.
We know how to fight for your rights. Social Security disability is complex. Put our experience to work for you, and there's no fee until we put money in your pocket.
Denied Social Security disability? Call the law firm of Betts & Burrill at 888-333-1599.
Tired and that always sticks. It's so scratched and worn, you can't cook in it.
Hi, Chef Daniel Green here with my new hammered pans from Gotham Steel. This complete 9-piece set is guaranteed to beautify your kitchen like never before. Hammered pans are ultra non-stick and they're even oven safe up to 500 degrees. So bake homemade chicken pot pie or this whole chicken dinner. Use metal beaters straight in the pan for a gourmet souffle that slips right out. Plus the entire set is dishwasher safe and PFOA free.
Get the full 9-piece Gotham Steel hammered set for just 5 payments of $49.99, and we'll even ship it to you free. But order now and we'll drop 1 payment. That's just 4 payments of $49.99. Plus, we'll include this free steamer and strainer, and our 5-piece bakeware set with every pan you'll ever need to make delicious breads, cakes, and desserts. That's a huge 15-piece set with free shipping. Call or click now.
Call 1-800-608-1538 or go to buyhammered.com.
We are back with Frankly Speaking here on Big Fox. Yes, a lot of people reaching out and thanking us here. Thank you so much for thanking us. That today is the $82.7 million capital project for the Corning Painted Post School District. So if you're in the Corning Painted Post School District and you support that or do not support it, today is the day to have your voice heard. 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. at your normal school vote location. That's at Corning Painted Post High School or the Administrative Building or Corning Town Hall or Irwin Valley School. Those are the main places. So $82.7 million capital project to be voted on December the 19th. So I mentioned Cheney before we wrap up and take one last break. Liz Cheney was on Fox with special report, and she said what I would say to Fox viewers. And I worked here for many years, as you know. The race today presents a number of candidates who will abide by the Constitution. You can have the policies that we all want, some of which Donald Trump put into place, some of which he didn't. We can have conservative policies without having to torch the Constitution. I would urge people watching today who are going to be voting in those caucuses, in those primaries, vote for somebody else. Do not vote for the person who already tried to seize power. This is about ensuring that you're going to vote for somebody, that you will support somebody who's going to uphold the rule of law. Donald Trump has demonstrated he won't. So they asked her about kind of the double standard that and this is very typical of Republicans that turn on Republicans. We saw it with Mitt Romney. We saw it way back with John McCain. There's that double standard where they will not fight, Romney or McCain would not fight Obama as tough as they fight their fellow Republicans. Mitt Romney, we saw him cave during that debate when any kind of pushback. So, yet he can come out and bash Trump over and over again. Same as what we're seeing here with Liz Cheney. And Brett Baer noted the paper, which is a Wall Street Journal op-ed, they're not always friendly to Trump, but had published that Biden has done exactly what critics warned Trump will do if he returns to the White House. Brett Baer listed several areas in which Biden or his government had been criticized for potential overreach, including student loan eradication, even though the Supreme Court said, COVID orders, vaccine mandates, and domestic energy production restrictions. Cheney disagreed she had not been vocal on such issues, specifically citing the energy front, which is the important issue in Wyoming. So she said, I think it's a very different thing. Well, no, yeah, it is different because in this case, you can sell books and you can get all the media coverage, where if you're criticizing Biden, it's the opposite. The media will not like you any longer. We see this from Republicans very often. You saw it with McCain, you saw it with Romney, and you see it now with Liz Cheney. Nothing new under the sun. Last break, then we're going to wrap things up here on Frankly Speaking. Please stay with us.
Oh, this one is awesome.
Would you like a helmet with your e-bike?
Before hitting the road, learn how to control and operate your e-bike and follow the rules.
Elmer Lay's service department is here for all your vehicle needs. All technicians are GM and ASE certified and ready to service all makes and models. We offer competitive pricing on all services, only at Elm Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
This right here is confidential
in a bottle.
It makes me feel so much more confident than I've ever felt.
They are some of the hottest videos on social media. Those videos claiming to instantly get rid of bags under your eyes. Annette Figueroa is here to tell us why she says this one is for real.
This one is for real, and I'm so excited. We even have a video, and all he uses is a small amount on a clean, dry face. And what it does is it tightens and lifts the appearance of bags underneath your eyes. And I did this to my father. We were at home, so we applied it to his under eye bags, and let me tell you, we were so excited. In under 10 minutes, they visibly disappeared from view, and now it is literally part of both of our daily routines. And not only does it work on the bags, it works on the appearance of crow's feet, fine lines, and wrinkles.
At our $14.95 price, it's the best way to try Plexiderm and see it work after your first application. Your solution is at plexidermtrial.com or call.
Wrapping up here, another quick, fun, exciting episode of Frankly Speaking here on Big Fox, broadcasting live from the Hesselson studio. The 118th Congress, just quickly, 118th Congress is on track to be one of the most unproductive in modern history. With just a couple dozen laws on the books at the close of 2023. That's according to data from data analytics firm Quorum. Yes, according to this, and this is coming from Axios. Let me see if I can get this number up on the screen too, by the way, because I wanted to show it to you because it is kind of startling. According to Axios, if you see the graph there, just 20 bills have been passed by both chambers and signed into law this year, with another 4 currently awaiting President Biden's signature, according to the Quorum data. Just interesting. We know there was some, I don't know if dysfunction's the right word, but I think that probably works. Not just Democrat, Republican, but also within different factions of the Republicans and some of the factions of the Democrats. There's an interesting piece by the New York Post editorial board. Why is Biden pushing for Israel's defeat and lying about its tactics? President Biden's new demand that Israel ease up in its war on Hamas is a perilous and nonsensical cave to the growing anti-Israel wing of the Democrat Party. Yeah, but what else choice does he have when you see these poll numbers? They're getting genuinely concerned about the polls, and this is what we were fearful of. Nonsensical because it endorses the utterly false notion that Israel's being callous about the lives of ordinary Gazans. This is a great piece. If you have an opportunity, you can find it at the New York Post today. He's accepting and reinforcing the false narrative pushed by a terrorist organization, meaning Hamas, and its enablers here in America. When it comes to Biden's political convenience, moral courage goes out the window. And by the way, students are actually rejecting early Harvard acceptance because they're afraid that it will be a stigma on them. Maybe they won't be able to get a job after the fact, or just a stigma, especially right now, of saying, oh, where'd you get accepted? Harvard? You know, you realize they applied well before all of this. I mean, we knew what was going on behind the scenes, but I'm saying where people actually started covering the anti-Israel, anti-Semitic protests and conversations. So, yeah, now they're actually rejecting Harvard acceptances because they don't want the anti-Semitism stigma that is plaguing this Ivy League institution. Texas law lets police arrest migrants who enter the U.S. illegally. That just was approved yesterday with Governor Greg Abbott. That'll start in March, I believe it was. All right, we're out of time for today's edition of Frankly Speaking. Yes, today is that $82.7 million capital project vote for the Corning Painted Post School District today, 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. That does it for us. Have a great day, everyone, and we'll be back tomorrow morning with Frankly Speaking starting at 7, only on WYDC TV. Big Fox, I look forward to it already.